Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to talk about whether you can use Mists of Pandaria Remix to make gold and ultimately how you could do so. Realistically, there's not a lot of ways, but let's talk about it. So a lot of your traditional methods of making gold are not available really in Mists of Pandaria Remix. A lot of players will make their gold predominantly by doing things like LFG. In this case, most of this is not really available for tons of gold. It doesn't generate a ton of gold. It's not able to give you a ton of gold. The other methods is usually selling items. So being able to sell your items is usually one of the ways. A lot of gear, well, all gear has no sell price inside of Mists of Pandaria Remix. So selling gear is out, LFG is out, and looting mobs also is out. Unfortunately again, mobs, even the basic most simple ones, don't drop a lot of gold. You're not snagging a huge chunk of gold from being able to defeat mobs. It's just not one of those things. So immediately we can see that the traditional methods are just not really there realistically, and that's okay. It's not like a huge problem. The point of Mists of Pandaria Remix is not to create gold, it's to get bronze. So immediately the traditional methods are kind of out. When it comes to like getting gold, which you can see I do have some gold here, it predominantly comes from the quest chests. So being able to loot the quest chests that you get from certain quests essentially will give you some form of gold. So here you can see I've collected myself a cache or infinite treasure. Completing the quests gives a little bit of gold in itself, and then the cache itself does not give any gold. So it's only completing quests that's your predominant source of gold, and it's not a lot. You can see I've collected 3,000 gold in around 30 hours of playtime, and things like professions are off the table. Firstly, there are no professions, I think, outside of fishing and mining, and there's no mining ore for you to mine, and the fish themselves, I believe, don't spawn. So immediately, there are no real traditional methods of obtaining gold, which is quite a large restriction on your ability to make gold in an expansion. However, there is possibly one method that you can use to make gold, but it is a very questionable method. Well, when I say questionable, it's something that we're not going to be able to know if it's going to pay off until the end of the event period. So we'll talk about that now, but you're going to be waiting a while to even see if you can get results. So based on the traditional methods, I'd say there's very little incentive for gold making. So unfortunately, the only way it seems like players are really making money in Mists of Pandaria Remix is by offering sales of Mists of Pandaria Remix runs. So you can kind of see here, basically, that there's a whole bunch of people selling raids. A lot of them are obviously selling Aberrus and a whole bunch of the other raids, but realistically you can see a couple of them offering heroic Mists of Pandaria raiding. Also some more Mists of Pandaria runs. Now, why are they offering Mists of Pandaria runs? So basically, for a lot of players, like there are a couple time-gated situations for Mists of Pandaria. Those being, very minimal, but there's a title involved, and I believe also there is the ability to get your amulet. So these things are locked behind doing both normal and the heroic raid. I'm going to be honest, it's really not worth running or paying at all for this, but it is something that's popped up. It's the only real way I've seen people make money out of this. There's no pets that you can box up, you can't pet battle, there's no collections that you can do, that you can collect to sell on or anything, and I think that's pretty much it. So in a way it's really good. Obviously, I think your main kind of like your main kind of perception of money making is not going to come from Mists of Pandaria Remix. I think you have to accept that unless you're someone who's selling runs where there's always money involved, as questionable as it is, you're probably not going to use Pandaria Remix to set yourself up with gold before the start of the next expansion. That's just me. There's just no real money to be made here. But yeah, that's it from me. Bye.